And in somewhat of a surprising development coming out of Beit Lahia in the north of the Gaza Strip, hundreds of Gazan civilians, actually thousands now, marched in a protest dubbed Intifada of the North, chanting to remove Hamas from leadership and even demanding the release of Israeli hostages. We have more from ILTV's Devil Klein.
Massive crowds of Gazans were drawn to the Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza to protest against Hamas rule. In Beit Lahia, where fighting resumed just last week, the sentiment of the civilians in Gaza is crystal clear. They are done with Hamas. White flags were seen in the crowds as the masses chanted to end the war, demanding the release of Israeli hostages as they recognize it to be a crucial step in ending the war. Video footage shows hundreds marching and chanting to oust Hamas, which has been ruling the Gaza Strip since Israel's disengagement in 2005. In the video here, Gazans can be heard shouting criticism at the press. One protester asked, "Where is Al Jazeera?" a Qatari-funded news channel that is largely supportive of Hamas.
كما تشاهدون الناس عامة الناس تسأل عن أنس شريف مراسل قناة الجزيرة مراسل قناة الجزيرة عامة الشعب لا يريد قناة الجزيرة ها هم.
However, not everyone is buying it. Activists took to Twitter to remind those who may have forgotten the Gazan support for Hamas on October 7th. Shouts of Allahu Akbar and praise for Hamas was undeniable as Israeli hostages were paraded through the city. Are the tides changing in Gaza, or is this crowd a minority? Only time will tell.
And now here to speak with us about this rare sight in Gaza and break it down for us is Itamar Marcus of the Palestinian Media Watch. Itamar, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you here at ILTV. What's your initial reaction to the scenes in Gaza now of these hundreds of Palestinians protesting against Hamas?
Well, the first thing that has to be recognized is that they're not protesting what Hamas did on October 7th. They're not protesting the atrocities. They're not protesting the murder, the rape, and the taking of hostages. All the polls at the time show that the entire Gazan population, 98% of them were proud, 71% supported it. What's happening now is they've suffered so much. So no matter how happy they were about October 7th, they can't be happy about October 8th and onward. So that this is not a rejection of killing Israelis. It's a rejection of Hamas because they're irresponsible. And I'll give you some interesting points to think about. The Palestinian Authority has been critical of Hamas in the last few months for allowing the war to continue, and they've been telling Hamas, you should return the rest of the hostages and let the war end and let the people of Gaza stop suffering. So this is what's going on in the PA world now. Even from the Palestinian Authority and even from those in the West Bank, what they're saying is, we've had enough suffering, you accomplished what you did on October 7th, it was a great day, but it's time to end it, and you must end it, even if it means losing your power.
Now, we know the people of Gaza have really done nothing to assist our hostages since October 7th. Is this an opportunity for some kind of change? And even if the public opinion about Israel hasn't changed inside Gaza, how can Israel use this to improve the situation overall, or can they?
Well, if the situation gets bad enough, then the people will be turning to Israelis for help. Right now, Israel has been perceived as someone who gave them help because we were forced to by the international community. We allowed in the humanitarian aid. If the situation gets bad enough, they might recognize that actually Israel is not their enemy, and that Israel could actually be someone who they live beside. But we're talking here about a massive change in ideology that would take not just weeks, but would take months and years to accomplish.
Now, one of the interesting things that we've heard from these protesters just a few seconds ago in this broadcast were chants against Al Jazeera, which has played such a large role in disinformation during this war. What do you make of this? I mean, the fact they'll cover anything where they can blame Israel, but never Palestinians against Hamas.
Al Jazeera is the voice to the world for Hamas. Hamas needs a PR campaign to cover its terror, and that's what Al Jazeera was for them. And not only does Israel say this, and not only does Israel know this, but the Palestinian Authority knows this. The Palestinian Authority prohibited Hamas, prohibited Al Jazeera from broadcasting from the West Bank long before Israel prohibited it, because they were promoting Hamas propaganda against the Palestinian Authority. Now, since the war started, it's been Hamas propaganda against Israel. But it's not just propaganda. They also make Hamas seem good. They make them seem nice. They make them seem good to their people, humanitarian. And the people now are disgusted with this. They want the world to know what Hamas is, really what it is, because right now it's just a matter of life or death. They want Hamas out of there.
Now, there's been a debate for many years, actually, about the ability of Gazans to revolt against Hamas. We know how they brutally execute Palestinians who work against them. How far can the people of Gaza take this? I mean, is Hamas going to crack down on these masses of people as well? How many Gazans are really complicit with Hamas versus how many are actually victims of Hamas?
What's interesting is they could both at the same time be victims of Hamas and complicit with Hamas. A lot of them probably feel that the suffering is worth it because Hamas it represents a religious ideology that they believe in, and the suffering is going to do them wonderful things, give them wonderful rewards in paradise, that as Hamas has been promising them. So some of them, a lot of them probably do believe that, but they reach the point where the suffering is so great. Now, the question is, and your important question you did ask is, will they have enough power to really do something about Hamas? Right now, the Hamas fighters are hiding underground. They're not even confronting the Israeli soldiers, which is why the people can actually go out and do these demonstrations. I think what will happen is if we go into a period of a ceasefire for a number of months where Israel is getting hostages released in exchange for a ceasefire, during that period, Hamas is going to go out from their tunnels and they're going to go after all the people who they've seen on TV critical of Hamas, and they're going to make them pay for what they said. And at that point, when Israel has withdrawn from the combat, there's nothing we can do. We can't go after the Hamas people. So it actually might indirectly encourage Hamas to come and reach an agreement to release hostages, because then they'll have an opportunity to punish all those demonstrators who've been causing them such a bad, giving them such bad PR coming from Gaza.
All right, well, we will be following this story closely, but unfortunately today we're out of time, so I want to thank you for joining us today, Itamar Marcus from Palestinian Media Watch.
Thank you.